Brooklyn. I'm here with my dad.
Patrick K. Really Sells. Follow me on Instagram at Patrick K. Really Sells. How you doing? And you are watching You Can Say It. Hey, how you guys doing this week? Today is actually Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Hope you guys enjoy your day. And I'm going to start with you. What does Mother's Day mean to you? You have one, so
it means
what you think?
Spending time with your mom.
Mm-hmm. That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mother's Day is just one of those days where if out of the 364 days out the year, you may forget to recognize your mom. You can have one day to get it right. You have one day to make sure you let your mother, your wife, your significant other, if she is a mother, that they're special and what they do really matters.
Yeah.
You know, because it's hard being a mom out here in these streets. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms. I hope you guys watching and tell your mom happy Mother's Day. All right, that's all we gotta say about that. Moving on, since it is, kind of spring going into the summer, you see grass is growing.
Yeah, trees,
flowers, things like that. I came across this interesting quote about butterflies. It says, "Don't chase butterflies. Mend your garden, and the butterflies will come." What you think about that?
Don't chase butterflies.
Yeah, when you see a butterfly out there, it's kind of moving slow. You try to chase it, but you just can't grasp it. You just can't get to it. You ever tried to get a butterfly, but it's so slow, but it's so fast, you just can't get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and when you look at that in life, you don't chase that beautiful, shiny gold, that thing you want, that relationship you want, that goal you want, that you're looking for your purpose in life and you're trying to chase it. You don't chase it. You just work on yourself. You mend your garden. You sow, you reap. And then if you make that beautiful, the butterfly is just going to gravitate to it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
So you always got to work on yourself first to get what you want. It's like the law of attraction, So tell me something about that quote. What do you think? Do you think people try to chase things the wrong way without actually putting in the work to receive it?
Definitely. I see a lot of people try and, for example, if you're trying to go into a job but you're not at the right character, I guess, to even be in that job. Basically saying...
Explain.
Say, if you're a shy person and you want to be in the business world, but you're shy and you don't even try and work on that. You just think, oh, it'll be fine. And you go into the business place and all that, and you just crumble and you say, oh, this isn't for me, and not even try and work on yourself to really, change yourself because you want to be in that career.
Kind of like someone who would just get into, in my field, car sales.
Yeah.
So some people would just say, oh, I can sell cars because they look at the money.
Yeah.
They think it's easy. They think, just because someone wants a car, they're going to automatically come and say, I want that car, sit down and sign. They know it's certain steps, it's certain communication skills you need, negotiating skills, things of that nature that you have to acquire. Right.
They just say, that's not for me.
Or usually you get frustrated. That's one of the things that I look at. Because when you're chasing a butterfly, you got to think about it. You get frustrated trying to get it because you're overdoing it. So a lot of times, I think when it comes to goals, relationships, things of that nature, sometimes you have to just fall back, work on yourself, and beautify your environment. You gotta attract what you want. So for instance, if you want to be in something like sales, what do you think a person can do to cultivate their garden to attract that butterfly of that high potential sellability?
This is a great
you
example.
How I said that?
Yeah, this is a great example because I actually do want to be in sales. I do want to be in the business.
Whoa.
Be my own boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like ever since I was young, I've always wanted to be somewhere where I could make my own money, have financial freedom, and work on my own time, kind of. That's later in the future, but I feel like there's this one thing that's holding me back.
What's that?
And it's the fear of other people's opinion and what they're gonna say. That is the number one thing.
So we always going back to that. We always going back to that fear of
I feel like that's
others.
the root
a lot of people struggle.
Everything.
But what are you doing now to mend your garden to bring that butterfly effect? So they say, what are you doing to mend your garden to overcome that fear?
To overcome that?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm trying to
actionable
get
steps.
to know myself. That way, no one can shake.
Building your self-esteem.
Yes, exactly. And that's,
how are you doing that? Like, what are your action steps for that?
Shadow work stuff.
Do you want to share or no? Because that sounds pretty
new.
Not new.
Shadow work.
But it's kind of. I thought shadow work meant that you kind of go into that part of you that you don't want people to know about.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You kind of embrace it.
Do that so that way no one can ever tell you anything about yourself. You'll know who you are.
So what I mean, have you made any strives? I mean, can you tell me about a time recently that you feel like you are at least getting growth in that aspect of your journey?
Well, I'm definitely
can you tell me a
going
time
out of my way, being intentional when I talk to people.
Okay. When was the last time you can think back to where you were intentional to bring on that self-esteem, to build that character within yourself as it relates to getting to the point where you think you can be
Talking to the Starbucks
serious?
lady today, telling her I wanted extra caramel.
Because she did kind of try to like engage on that.
I wanted extra caramel.
She did kind of like go back and forth. I did see that. It was a little back and forth there going on.
Usually I'd be like, never mind, and I told her extra caramel. So I feel like it's those little steps that give you the confidence to keep going up higher and higher.
Well, that's good. Someone wanted, as far as me, the butterfly that I'm really chasing right now is multiple things. I got multiple things. And the most important thing...
You know what? I feel like I thought about this. No, it has to go with that. But do you think if you're chasing too many things that you can't get you can't get one of them? It's just all over the place?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I always am like trying to read, right? I want to write. I want to do that thing to better myself, do that thing. And then I end up doing...
Well, it is a book out here. It's called That One Thing. I forgot who wrote the book, but I did read it. It kind of talks about that. It kind of talks about focusing on one goal, one thing, being like an expert, a master on that one thing, and that thing can kind of spread out to other avenues. For instance, if you look at the most famous people, the most successful people, you can always find the one thing that they're good at, and then you can see all the stuff they branched out for. For instance, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. What's the one thing that they're good at?
Basketball. And
from basketball, what do they get? Endorsements, businesses, things of that nature. So it's like focusing on that one thing that you want to really cultivate within yourself. So if your one thing could be sales, you should focus everything to funnel into sales. And I think that's what you probably have to just focus your thought process on.
Yeah. So
again, if you want to write, you write in terms of selling. If you want to do what other things you think? Writing, what else?
Speaking to people.
Speaking, you got to speak in terms of selling. You probably want to have something creative to sell while you're speaking. You have to really incorporate the sales aspect into whatever you're trying to do, and that's the one thing that you can kind of be the latch on to go further in that field. That makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like as I read books, I realize that I subconsciously do the things that they say in the book, but I never realized it. Do you think that? Do you have those times where you read something, you're like, oh, I actually do that?
Well, a lot of these, self-help books, personal growth books, business books, they all kind of regurgitate the same stuff. It's kind of the same thing, but different variations of it. And the thing about it is, the more of these books you read, the more it'll soak into that one main focal point or a few focal points that kind of will be ingrained in you. Because right now, what I'm noticing, the one thing I'm noticing that a lot of these books kind of carry on is that change starts with you, like period. It starts with you the change agent. If you can't do it, then it won't happen. And that goes back to one of my quotes for today. I do quotes, and one of these quotes that I did put out there today was, be the change you want to see be the change you want to see the change you want. So you have to be that person that you want to be to see that outcome, to manifest that stuff that you see yourself doing. Like if you don't see it in yourself, you would never see it in the physical form. And that goes for anything. But I think the hardest thing about doing that is You're going to have those obstacles. You're going to have those setbacks. You're going to have those people who try to bring you back to who you don't want to be.
Right.
And at that point,
the idea they have of you, they bring you back
yeah.
to that.
So you got to push through, you know, and personally right now I'm going through something like that. You know, I'm trying to change my perspective on certain people, certain things. And it's hard because, you know, people will come at you with the same energy that they came at you before, but you want to change that energy because you don't want to keep going tit for tat. You want to make that change. So it's all about you personally to just say, you know what, I'm done. It's over. I'm a different person. And for me to be that different person, I have to do things differently starting right now. It starts today. It can't start when the other person or the other situation changes, because that way you're not changing. You're just reacting. You have to be proactive in your changing.
I think that kind of relates to being intentional with your actions, and it's like asking yourself, oh, what would my highest person do? What habits would they do?
Of course.
And then incorporate that into your everyday life to be that person.
Yeah, because it goes back to another quote that I read. It said something like, you have to be the person today who you want to be tomorrow.
Right.
You have to make the changes today for the person you want to be tomorrow.
And I think a lot of people, they're like, you know, I'll do it tomorrow. It's fine. And they don't think it matters, but time adds up.
Yeah, time is that compound interest, man. It's like every little step moves you forward. And one of the things I'm just kind of catching on to is that it doesn't matter if you have those bad days. You have to embrace those bad days where you fall off,
right,
where you're not as on it or intentional as you need to be, because you have to learn from them days. You got to actually, those are the good days to me, because once you kind of consciously recognize, like, oh man, I messed up, I'm not on my game, you can say, you know what, but the rest of the day I'm going to focus on being better, and then that can carry on to the next day and the next day. Like I said, if you can do it 30 out of 30 days, if you can do it 25 days, and then 5 days you step back, that's still 20 days of progress that you have going for you. And if you can do 20 days times 12, that's what, 240 days, right?
Yeah. If I'm reading a book.
No. That's 240 days. So that's 240 days, right? 20 times 12.
You're asking me. I know I'm gonna be in finance.
20 times 12. They gotta be
20 times 12?
Yeah. It's 240 days. Yep.
I think so.
And then the other 365 minus 240. You're not going, but it's still, you have, my calculator not working, but still you have, what I'm trying to say is you have that momentum. We're not math wizards, nothing
I'm about
like
to
that.
be a math wizard.
But you have that momentum, what I'm trying to say. So it's all about being consistent and moving forward, even though you want to have those days where you fall off, where you let things get to you. In those days, you got to really kind of internalize that, think about it. You have to, because once you reflect on it, you kind of see like, all right, this is what I did wrong. And I'm doing that now, and I'm starting to see those bad days are becoming less and less. Because before, I used to just, mess up one time and then like, you know what, just forget it.
You used to be a crash out?
Yeah, then Monday. So Monday I messed up early, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday come. I'm like, I had a whole week and I didn't have any growth. Then Saturday come, the weekend, I want to get focused. Sunday is good again. Then I'm going to start Monday. Then again, that's 5 days that I didn't grow compared to 2. So I'm -3 right now.
Right.
So I'm 3 steps behind. So it's all about being conscious and then, again, trying to motivate and go further with that. So that goes back to what we was talking about, chasing that butterfly. You got to, when you're chasing a butterfly, you have to slow down. And then you have to really focus on what really matters. Because you think about it, a butterfly is always fleeting, it's always moving. And if you try to chase it, that is not building on that foundation of bringing it to you. Yeah. You have to let it come to you. Yeah, so that goes back to cultivating your garden, beautifying your surroundings. So if you want to be in sales, you have to make sure your surroundings cultivate a sales environment.
Yeah.
So that means you have to be more focused on sales books. You have to listen to podcasts where they talk about sales. You have to have your mind in the sales mind state
every day,
the majority of the day, and just have that in the focal front, in the focal front of your mind when you engaging with people. And that doesn't mean every time you talk to somebody it has to be a transactional conversation. Yeah, but it just means you have to carry yourself in certain ways when it comes to sales too. Your dress, your temperament, the way you speak, the way how you assertive you are. So you can take little opportunities to kind of build yourself into a salesperson. Yeah. So one of the things I would suggest is you can say, what is the Google top 10 traits of a professional salesperson? And they might say professional salespeople have a good vocabulary. So that means when you speaking to people, you can use different words, try out different meanings. Another thing, me being in sales for as long as I am, or I was, or I am right now, one of the things that get me by is a good story.
Storytelling?
Yeah, when it comes to sales, you have to be a great storyteller. A lot of people look at that as, oh, that means you're a liar. That means you like to embellish. Not necessarily. You just have to know how to reach out into certain past experiences and bring it and make it relevant to a current situation. You know, like if someone says, oh, my daughter, this is her first car. I'm nervous. I don't know if I should get her an SUV or a small car. Should I get her a sports car like she wants? And then you have to just be that storyteller to kind of move them along. Say, oh yeah, I had another customer whose daughter bought her first car. She got this car because of this. You know, you have to kind of share a story, something relatable, and always be funny. Yeah. Always have a joke, behind your back. Always say something that can open up that loop. Yeah. So another thing you need to do is attract opportunities. So again, when you mending your garden to attract the butterfly, you're attracting the opportunity for the butterfly to come. So again, to attract that good sales, I guess, that good sales, what you call what I'm looking for, that sales attraction, what would you do?
What'd you say? When I'm trying to what?
When you're trying to attract it, when you're trying to attract the results you're seeking, what would you do to attract that sales skill set? What can you do to attract it more?
Obviously,
kind of just said it. Read more podcasts.
Right. Act like it. Act like you already are one, basically.
Get up in the morning and kind of focus on a sales tip. Try to practice. Be
intentional with your actions every day into
to track opportunities.
Right.
And be patient and persistent. Because also when you think about a garden and cultivating a garden, you have to be patient. You have to be persistent every day. You have to water it. You have to make sure you cut the weeds out. You have to pay attention to it. So when it comes to becoming sales or reaching your goals, every day you have to mend it. You have to pay attention to it. You have to, sustain it to make it presentable, to be attractive to what you want to bring to the table.
Yeah. And also think about your future self and how all this is going to definitely pay off.
Of course.
If you don't take any steps, then you're just going to keep being your present self. You're never going to...
Now, besides sales, is there anything else you trying to, in the future, attract to you? Me personally, like I said, I got a few things. Like, I want to become a better manager at work. I think that is...
Well, I want to become a better communicator to people.
Again, communicating, what are you doing? Like
reading
you said,
out loud.
Putting yourself out there.
My vocabulary. Yeah, definitely putting myself out there, because naturally I like to be more alone, but I realize I have to put myself out there more, hang out with my friends more to build up that confidence.
Oh, that's what you're doing when you go out?
Yeah.
You're doing that for
doing it for myself.
Educational reasons.
Yeah.
Now, can I get on how I'm trying to attract my butterflies for a minute?
Go ahead.
Do you mind? Is it okay?
What exactly are you trying to?
Well, I'm trying to become a better manager at work. That's like one of my primary goals.
Bossy.
Well,
become less bossy.
Well, it's about becoming less bossy. And someone told me I need to learn my team. I need to really focus on individuals instead of looking at everybody as a collective group and using them as, tools for me to succeed. It's all about helping them succeed, helping the business to succeed, and overall we win. So I'm trying to transition from it being more about me to more about them, us, and working together to achieve a common goal. And that's some of the things I need to cultivate. And one of the things I'm trying to cultivate, but that is, again, being the change I want to see. And then that change that I want to see is more cooperation, so I have to be more cooperative. When you know, so I need to be more understanding, more cooperative, more of a communicator more of a listener to figure out what they need for me to help them succeed, as opposed to me telling them what I want them to do. And that's where I'm learning how to really understand that. And it's taking some time, but the best thing about it is I'm going to be intentional about it. I'm persistent about it, and I'm consistent with building on that skill set. So I'm ready to learn. I'm one of those people that I want to learn, want to get better. And that's where it starts, really, if you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, you never open that door of opportunity. You will always just say it. So it's all about wanting as opposed to just saying.
Yeah.
So it's all about mending that garden to attract those butterflies. Also, one other thing I want to do is I'm single right now. And I do want to... What can I say? Can I talk about my life? I mean,
what do you want to do?
I'm being intentional about it. I do want to meet a good female that I can share time with and hopefully build on that. And again, attracting that butterfly goes back to me having to mend my own garden. That means I want to attract the person that I feel that is suitable for me. That means I need to work on being more my communication skills. What else? I don't think I work too much on my personality, but just more communicating skills so I can communicate better and things of that nature. So it's a lot of things that you have to work on yourself to attract what you want, and then you got to just want to do it and be consistent with it at the end of the day. So again, that great quote is, don't chase butterflies, mend your garden and the butterflies will come. So don't chase things, internalize it, work on yourself, and good things that come to you just be attracted to you. Is the law of attraction. Which you put out there, which you will receive. Now, if you don't mend your garden, on the other hand, you get what? Weeds, you get bugs, you get a lot of negative things in that garden, and it just look like a complete disaster, right?
Like that?
Yeah. So you need to always mend your garden regardless of what. You mend your garden for what you want. You want to grow tomatoes, you mend it for the growth of tomatoes, and make sure you watch those tomatoes and don't let animals and things of that nature take them. So it's a lot of things that this quote can encompass if you think about it. So long story short, work on yourself, build yourself, and attract what you want. Because if you don't, you're going to attract something anyway, so it might as well be what you want, right? Because whatever you do, you attract. Whatever you put out there, you receive. Yeah. So if you put out a lot of negativity, a lot of falsehood, a lot of just surface thoughts, you're going to receive that surface interaction, because you attract what you want at the end of the day. All right. Good talk. We're going to end this day on a book that we both read. Talk about that for a minute. It's called Thinking for a Change by John C. Maxwell. I read that book like 2 or 3. I read it like 3 times. I listened to it maybe twice. So
I like that book a lot. It's a very good book.
What you like most about the book?
I like the author and how he explained every topic, gave examples and stuff. John C.
Maxwell, he is a prolific writer. He has a lot of books out there. Yeah. You see that word prolific? That's a word you should use.
Prolific?
Yeah. Start using it. See how I just used it?
Yeah, I know what that means.
But you should use it to get your sales vocabulary up. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
I think it was eloquent.
It wasn't eloquent. It was to me, he recycles a lot of his work. If you listen to 2 or 3, 4 of his books, you will find out a lot of his elements are said in other books as well, which is okay because he has his cadence, he has his style, and you get used to what you're hearing from him. But he does set it up in an easy follow along type of setup. When you read his book, you can easily follow along. So I actually got the chapters out there. Let's talk about them briefly. Chapter 1 was understand the value of good thinking. Think on these things. That's a book he kind of said we should look at. But he said, think beyond what you see in a positive possibility reality. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, chapter 1, understand the value of good thinking. What is the value to you of good thinking?
The value of good thinking is coming up with good ideas to get good results.
Well, like you said, think beyond what you see in a positive possibility reality. So a lot of times you see things that could be seen as negative, that could be seen as no chance, dead end. But he says the value of positive possibility thinking is that you can think beyond what you see and kind of overcome whatever obstacle is in front of you. So I think that's very valuable, because that mean right there, you're pretty much unstoppable. And it goes back to, it's all about you. You can overcome what you feel like you can. It's about what you put into it, and you're not your circumstance, but you can create your circumstance. Another quote that I read not too long ago is that how you see the problem is the problem. So if you see the problem as something you can't get over, then you're not gonna get over it. If you see the problem as something you can probably figure it out, then you can figure it out. So again, that's positive possibility thinking.
I actually, that kind of goes along with my current situation because, well, I obviously want to be very successful when I'm older, and I want to be in finance, do real estate, and be in the business, like car selling. But some people don't see. Some people don't see.
Me?
I'm joking, not you, but some people don't see that, like, my view, like what I want to do.
But again, why do you care what other people see? It's your view. It's your reality.
Yeah, so, I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like...
Why, again, but you already have that thinking of some people don't see. So you already have that defeating yourself, and you worried about... You still worry about what other people think. By saying that, some people don't see. Why do you care what some people... You should just say, I see, this is what I'm putting out there, and really focus on that instead of worrying about the outsiders.
Yeah.
So change that self-talk.
Well, I do change it because I'm obviously going to keep striving for that.
Well, I'm going to keep telling you when you say stuff like that, because that right there kind of sets you back. All right, chapter 2. Realize the impact of change thinking. To change your thinking, the first change comes with yourself. Again, change thinking is not automatic. It's a process.
Yeah, you have to be very intentional with your thoughts. That's basically what he talks about a lot in the book, is being intentional. And
do you think that... What can you do to maintain that intentionality?
Well, once you see a limited thought that is about to be expressed out loud or in your head, stop yourself and say...
So why didn't you just do that when you said some people, and I had to tell you?
Because I didn't realize that wasn't like saying, oh, I was worried. I was just saying, like, I'm just saying some people do.
I think that one of the things that I do is I write a lot down. So I think journaling is good. I think sometimes you have to reflect.
He talks a lot about reflecting and like writing out your day, how your week went, and like
you plan your day.
Planning your days. One thing he does is he plans his whole calendar.
Yeah, and that's something that takes discipline, and also that's the stuff you want to do if you want to become that elite type of person. I mean, the elite people do stuff that the average person doesn't do. And the more you think about that, the more it's true. Again, we go back to people like LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, the best players in the world practice the hardest. Mm-hmm. The smartest people read the most books. You know, the most healthiest people eat the less junk. They have the most discipline. So you have to be disciplined in your thoughts if you want to create a different life for yourself. And that's just real. And I think I could do a better job at that. And one of the things I do to try to help me, and I think it's been helping me, is when I get up in the morning, I kind of write out a lot of stuff. So a lot of things is about being consistent, being persistent, and staying on task.
He also talks about taking time to reflect and like actually think about things instead, like putting your phone away, actually just sitting there thinking, manifesting, literally just thinking. Most people don't think; they're always on their phones. Because
think to me, when you sit down and you just think and reflect, you could reflect and think on things that you don't want to face.
Right.
And it can change your fantasy perception. You know, say for instance, you can be in a relationship with someone and you looking on the surface and thinking it's all good.
You just want to
you want to focus on the good.
Yeah.
But then if you was to say, let me think about this relationship. But now some people might say that's overthinking. What you think about that? Like, what's the difference do you think between overthinking and reflecting?
Has to do with thinking that person is doing something.
I'm talking about in general. Like some people can overthink, and then they say, well, I'm reflecting, but you're really overthinking.
Like if something's good, they're they're like, I don't know, maybe not, you know.
But what if they're reflecting? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm just asking you because it's hard to. I think the difference to me is overthinking, reflect. I think overthinking is kind of more of a negative.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It's more of a negative type of thing.
Overthink
is when you overly thinking about the negative possibilities, the limited possibilities. Reflecting, you just taking account of what happened. What can you change, and
you're looking at the actual facts, though.
And you kind of
thinking is not.
Yeah, because you can kind of attach it when you over reflect to something positive. You can say, I'm reflecting about my day. Was that a positive thing I did, or was that negative? So you can really look. So if you're overthinking, you say, oh, what I did, that was. I wonder if that was a good thing to do.
You're basically thinking for them.
Yeah.
Overthinking.
Okay, we're gonna stop this.